A very good evening, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. Dekwani akanaka mori yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita pazvirongwa zvakasiyana-siyana pano paAfrica and Beyond Television Network patinenge tikupai nhau dzakasiyana-siyana dzezviri kuitika mukati menyika yeZimbabwe. Nhasi takatarisa nyaya yeNational Youth Service yalonjwa naPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa. We are taking a look on the launch of National Youth Service by Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa. This is a new program launched recently in Uzumba, Maramba Pfungwe. And let us bring this story right here onto the screen so that we can have a discussion and we can see what is really happening in the nation of Zimbabwe and what is really transpiring. This move has been criticized heavily by a lot of people who believe that this is a militia. That is how other people are viewing it. PF supporters and stewards have welcomed this new development. Nick Mangwana, the government spokesperson, says today His Excellency President Mnangagwa is attending the Youth Empowerment Forum at Nakiwa Vocational Training Center in Uzumba, Maramba Pfungwe District, Mashonaland East Province. The President will also launch the rebranded Youth Service in Zimbabwe program. The event is running under the theme Empower Youth, Secure the Future. This is what is happening in Zimbabwe, and it's interesting to see these new developments despite some differences. It has been launched, and it seems as if ZANU people are not backtracking. They are actually moving forward with their plan to actually launch the National Youth Program or the Youth Service. What is not so clear is how this is going to be operating. I have not seen possibly an amendment in the constitution, or I have not seen the actual policy about the actual service which the youth will be embarking on. If you go to other countries, after you serve college, you go to National Youth Service, where you get employed. For example, if you are in the field of teaching, you go to NYS for around, or let's say three months doing NYS. It's not like a militia, like in Zimbabwe, the border gezi, which we know is you just go to serve, and there is no need for training. I have never seen in other countries. For example, I've given you an example of Nigeria. You don't go for training. If you are in the medical industry, you go for NYS. This is not an issue of getting a job. You are not employed per se. You are simply going to serve your nation. If you are in any industry you simply go to serve. That is how I have seen other National Youth Services working. This one of Zimbabwe, we do not know, because I have heard about sort of some training. And if we are to talk about border gezi, the notorious border gezi, which we know, Green Bomber, it was so notorious. They were well trained, and they were like a militia. And some people actually believe that is the reason why border gezi had to be terminated, because that National Youth Service he had launched was now going to cause a lot of trouble. If you go to Sudan, there is what they call paramilitary. It was going to be more of a sort of a paramilitary, like the one which is operating in Sudan and which is having a conflict with the military there. So I do not know if that is the same thing, or we have to hear what is happening. A reincarnation of border gazes, old green bombers, pathetic. So we have not actually understood what is really happening. It's only in Zimbabwe. So these youngsters need jobs before they become a gangster. So I personally, I believe that you must save a nation as a young person in a capacity or in a sort of a capacity. It's not an issue that you must be trained. If you train them, what's next after training them? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be doing NYS for the whole of their lives? That is what is very important for the people of Zimbabwe to note. As long as we don't have a clear understanding of what is really happening, it becomes a problem. So how they empower us versus how they empower their own. So this is an example which has been given right here. These are the dala. It's said that such things happen in our nation at a point in time. People believe that things must be done differently and must be done in a different way. So personally, I believe that it was supposed to be an issue which comes from green consultation. Green Bombers 2.0. Doesn't matter what you are trying to rebrand them. They are going to be trained to protect ZANU-PF, not Zimbabwe. So if you see these people being trained, just to know it's a paramilitia which is being introduced and to be a danger to the people of Zimbabwe. There will be a doctrine which will be indoctrinated into them, and they will become vicious militia, and it will be a problem and a detriment to the people of Zimbabwe. So it's said in Zimbabwe that we continue to see these things, but let us take a look on what other people think. I do hope they have actually commented about this issue, and it's very important for us to go and take a look on what they think about this initiative. What are their thoughts? NYS, so it is going to be very interesting. Dedu Hope has commented on this issue, and let us take a look onto what is really happening here. He says, today President Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe launched his party's youth brigade, which has been used in the past to mete out brutal violence against critics of corrupt rule in Zimbabwe. One would wonder why any sensible youth would want to be part of such an hideous organization. Today, they were enticed. As you can see in the photograph attached with loaves of bread, trucks went to rural Mashonaland East with bread, and this shouldn't surprise us. Millions of youth go to bed on empty stomachs, and 95% of Zimbabwe's workforce is sitting at home because there are no jobs. So the ruling party okay, let me read again. So the ruling party gives them crumbs to turn them into this violent brigade. Guess who is at the helm of this madness? Olympian gold medalist and Mnangagwa sports minister, the incompetent Kirsty Coventry. She is so deeply embedded in ZANU-PF that she even grabbed a farm too. So while their kids are living in luxury from stolen funds in Europe, America, and Dubai, they are conscripting yours to wear the hideous green uniforms to beat up their critics. Okay, this is what is happening. So if this is a ZANU-PF youth militia, as Dedu Hope is saying, then we are in trouble, and we'll be in very, very, very deep trouble. But we do not know. We will see what is going to happen. We will see how this is going to unfold. The problem with this event is that people were wearing party uniforms. So the National Youth Service falls under the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, whose minister is Tino Machakaire, not Kirsty Coventry. Okay, this is Benny Mudowaya correcting the Hope. Understanding what at the heart of means would have avoided all this dude. What we have today was authored under Kirsty. Okay, so I think the Hope is quite correct right there. I think he missed in terms of the issue of comprehension there. Dedu Hope said this is an idea of Kirsty Coventry. So the changes of ministries does not matter at this point in time. Is this not under Honorable Machakaire as Minister of Youth Culture instead of Kirsty Coventry's Minister of Sports? It's an issue of launch or the starting of this thing, not anything else. Okay, this is a summary. Apana kana mwana wa minister ipapo asive kuzumba ndiwo vanonzi come and join kuitiswa cha iko. So this is what is happening in Zimbabwe. A lot of people believe that this is a counter attack which has been taken by ZANU-PF to make sure that they stop any possible protest from the opposition or any possible move from the opposition, because if this spreads across Zimbabwe and youth joins this brigade and it becomes an issue of training each other, and it will become almost sort of a paramilitary, and these are people who will be ready to be called for duty if anything happens. So I do not know, guys, what is going on, but we continue to watch and see so that we get to understand what is really happening and what is really going on in the nation of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the support. If you are new, please continue to hit the subscribe button, continue to turn on the notification bells so that you don't miss out each and every time we go live or we post an update. My name is Ronald Wekwamakusha. Till we meet again in other episodes. Much love.